Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today, we're going to look at the murder of Officer Miguel Moreno III, San Antonio Police Department, Texas. Now, Officer Moreno was 32 years old. He'd been with San Antonio Police Department for 9 years. Now, he wasn't married. His mom and daddy were still alive. He had some sisters and some brothers. Now, the day he was killed, his partner was one of his best friends. They had, I believe, went to high school together. So you got it made when you can spend your work days with your best friend. Now, it's June 29th, 2017, somewhere about 3 p.m. in the evening. Now, Officer Moreno and his partner, they were on a directed patrol, I believe is what the title they used it for, which I believe means that they've been assigned to a certain area and told to look out for certain crimes. Now, in this case, it was car burglaries. Now, generally that means that the two officers aren't subject to calls for service. All they're doing is looking for bad guys doing bad things. They don't have to worry about any calls pulling them away from their area. Now, they're going through the intersection of Evergreen and Howard. Now, they're eastbound on West Evergreen, 200 block. And now I'm going to kind of guess about the locations of the shooting. There's not really any information that provides exact locations. But according to the crime scene pictures, it looked like to me that they probably had passed the suspects. The suspects were walking back westbound on Evergreen on the north side of the street. Because immediately after seeing the suspects, the officers apparently saw a car that had been broken into. Now, the officers stopped. They stopped right there by the bicycle rack there on the north side of the street. And the only reason I'm thinking that's their patrol car is because there's so many crime scene placards around the front of it. So now the two officers get out of the car. Officer Moreno, he is driving. Now, what they didn't know was one of those two suspects was from Louisiana, and he had an incredibly long criminal history. He was not a very pleasant fella. He had pretty well committed any kind of violent felony you could think of at least once. Now, almost immediately after getting out of the car, because in this particular case, the officers would have gotten out of the car and had to walk back towards the rear of it. I believe that's where the suspects were at on the sidewalk. Well, the suspect with the horrible criminal record, he's armed with a pistol. And he begins firing almost immediately after the officers have begun to approach the two suspects. One of the rounds fired strikes Officer Moreno in the head. Now, his partner runs over and he's going to try to get Officer Moreno under cover. Now, when he does, he is struck, and the round that hits him in the chin and then goes into his chest area. Now, he's able to get Officer Moreno to cover, and then he begins firing at the suspect. Now, he hits the suspect once. The suspect then leaves the scene, and he's going westbound, and he gets down there to Howard and Evergreen, and he's standing right around that flower bed there on the northeast corner of Howard and Evergreen, and he shoots himself. So he's DOA on the scene. Now the call goes out, shots fired, officer down. Officer Moreno is transported to the hospital. Now, he hangs on till the next day, and then he dies. Now, the second suspect, he remained on the scene. He was taken into custody. Now, according to the resource material, he had some kind of a warrant. But the information I'm reading indicates that the police believed his story, that he didn't know his partner was armed with that pistol, and he had no idea he was going to shoot at the police. So he's not going to be charged with murder. And evidently, from what I read, not going to be charged with anything related to the killing of Officer Moreno or the shooting of his partner. Now, Officer Moreno's partner, he was transported, went into surgery, and it looks like he's going to recover fully and better return to work. He sure was sad now. You lose one of your best friends in that way and watching him dying in front of you. Officer Miguel Moreno III. End of watch, June 30th, 2017.